Hello, welcome to another episode of New Gameplay. Today, I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today by Leo Vader.
Hello.
And we got a full house here. We got Matt Miller.
Greetings.
And whenever there's Star Wars, Andrew Reiner smashes through the wall like Kool-Aid Man. What are we looking at here?
I kind of did, actually. This is Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn.
All right, I've seen Star Wars movies.
You have?
Yeah.
Wow.
Greg.
Yeah.
Well-
I saw this demo at E3 also, and I was, in reference to a Star Wars character, lukewarm on what I saw. But
Okay.
you, Miller, played it.
Yeah. I got to go out to an event and played like, I don't know, a good 3 hours of this almost. And I also played at E3. I thought I maybe liked it a little better than you did at E3, but I felt like it had some room to grow.
To be clear, I just watched the demo that they let us watch because they thought it looked good, and
Yeah.
I disagreed.
Okay.
Whereas
however-
Leo and I were in the studio, Respawn,
That's right.
and we played
With-
a bunch of it,
with famous streamer Kyle Hilliard.
and we really liked it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I would be with you, Cork, if I had not touched it for myself, because I think
Okay.
it does feel extremely good to play.
Okay.
and I think that I got to play it at E3 and thought that some of the timing stuff was still there. It felt like it was still kind of like work in progress, and I felt like now the build that I played this week was near final. I think it's fair to say,
Yeah.
and everything felt very solid.
yeah.
But this isn't your gameplay.
No. This is gameplay they provided to us. They didn't allow for capture, but this is the stuff that I played. This is down on a planet called Zepho, I believe, that you are exploring. Without getting into plot spoilers or anything like that. There are there's a reason related to some ancient force using culture.
The Jedi?
That not the Jedi. That you are coming to this place, and the Empire is already there when you get there.
Yeah. You did not take as many hits there, I bet, Miller.
I don't think I did, and I'll tell you why. One of the things that I discovered very early in my gameplay of this is that the game is super focused on defense. Now, I like this for a couple of reasons. One is that it forces you not to button mash, but I also like it because it's kind of in theme. I like the idea that we've got a Jedi here who's not all about just like rushing in and everything has to be aggression, right? Like that's in keeping with the kind of fiction,
Right.
And the best way to play this game, I promise you, when you get this game, is to focus on defense. You got to learn how to parry. You got to learn how to dodge. You got to learn how to block. And if you do that, you end up succeeding at battle. Like you can see right there, this guy's kind of getting beat up.
Yeah.
Is this a developer playing his own game?
I don't know who this is. I mean, they might be trying to show off like the dynamics
How
of
to get
combat.
punched in the face?
But you can see like the enemy got red there for a second. That's an unblockable attack. You have to dodge. But with the exception of those, lots of attacks you can parry, and then you get a cool counterattack opportunity.
It's nice to see this section returning from the Skylanders version.
Right. Well,
The game?
So here's one of the things in my written preview. One of the things I focused on that I want to circle back to here is that the game does not, as a whole, feel super original. There are a lot of things here, from what I played, that feel like they are very specifically drawn from other
Star Wars?
properties and other games. It does Star Wars well, but even that, in a sense, is sort of like, going off of what's come before. But there's also a lot of things where they are...
Dead Space?
There's Uncharted, like this whole sliding down thing is for me very reminiscent of a kind of thrill ride Uncharted experience. You definitely have some God of War DNA in here. And one of the things that's maybe not super obvious is that Dark Souls is very central to, like, the actual structure of play of a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne is very central because you explore and then you find these meditation points. And when you sit at them, they're effectively campfires, right?
Yeah, enemies respawn and
Exactly.
everything.
You get the enemies come back. You can spend your skill points. You can improve, but then when you go back out, all the bad guys are there again. I messed around a little bit, not a lot. Most of the time I spent playing on kind of the normal difficulty, but I did play a little bit on the higher difficulties. And the further you move it up that chain, the more it feels Dark Souls-esque, right? It gets the timing windows on parries get tighter. The enemies do a lot more damage. So if that's your vibe and you really like those kinds of games, I think you can kind of have like a Star Wars Dark Souls thing going on here. But the standard experience is not that. The standard experience is a lot more forgiving.
It's like if you liked playing Sekiro, but every time you played it, you ended up destroying your PlayStation.
Yeah.
You might enjoy this more.
Ooh.
Yes. I think
There
that's
was a limb that went out there. So they got those in the game. That was something they were trying to figure out when we were in the studio.
Yeah.
If they're going to be able to have detachable limbs on creatures. Not humanoids, though.
Sure.
Robots just get all kinds of messed up.
Yeah, you can really screw up those robots.
What do we got here?
This is kind of a cool area. So beneath Zepho, you get into the sort of Zepho ruins, and these are the tomb guardians that you discover down there.
Dwemer.
Yeah, right. And, they make for nice little kind of mini-boss-esque fights. They're not super easy, but you're also not likely to totally get destroyed by them if you're playing carefully. This is also the area where you get to... There's some, like, puzzle solving that goes on down here. I like how they approach puzzle solving, by the way, because you can do it all on your own, and they let you kind of just do it and explore if that's what you want. But you can always tap a button and you'll get a little hint from your droid friend, BD1.
Yeah.
And he'll kind of, here's generally what you should do next.
Okay.
At the end of the Zepho sequence, you come back here. You get back to your ship.
Yeah, right in the background there.
Exactly.
Not the ATST.
And this is kind of like after you've completed one of the main objectives on the planet down in the tombs. You come back up through along sort of some different paths because you have some new powers by the time you're on your way back up. And at the end of it, you get a note from your buddies on the ship that like, oh no, there's an ATST here. And it's kind of the climactic encounter of the sequence.
I like the glow on the gun.
Right?
That's cool.
Looks cool.
Great job.
They called you for that?
So this was funny for me when I did that. I totally didn't see the guy fall out, and so I was like, "Hey, I won the boss fight!" And then all of a sudden, I was getting beat up by the pilot. Oh wow!
Oh well.
Oh, the map system. Yep.
Yeah, the map system is very cool. There's kind of this hollow map thing. You can, I think it works quite well. It gives a very clear sense of where you've been and like.
Now the game
doors you
doesn't
can go
pause,
to.
by the way. So
Yeah.
if enemies are coming, they're still coming at you.
This is, if memory serves, is a cool little space that I also had found. There's actually a button for hold up your lightsaber as a flashlight, right? And so when you go into dark spaces, you want to do that, and it lets you kind of find stuff out there. There's a lot of places that you can kind of divert and find. Like there might be a cave off to the side that you'd have to search for a little bit, but inside, in one of those, for instance, I found an expansion for my healing. The number of heals I could get. Right?
Congrats.
Talk to me about.
Thank you.
You're kind of going into it here about Metroid a little bit. That was an inspiration point. We talked about Dark Souls. They also looked at the Metroid games, Prime in particular, how that was structured.
Yep.
Wanted to do something like that where players got new powers, came back. Did you run into anything like that?
Yeah, I think with a preview like this where we play for a couple of hours, there's always these things that are like, okay, well, we know that this is part of what you guys want to do, but the hours that we're playing simply aren't enough to know if that's how it's going to turn out. And I could see the evidence of that sort of Metroid style stuff. Like when I finished up the main plot of Zepho, I headed back to the surface, and that pretty much got me to the end of my time, right? I had time to kind of look around a little bit. But even as I did, I saw some of these new spaces that I could break into, because then now I didn't have force push when I went down,
right.
And then I had it when I went back up. I think how well they implement exactly what you're talking about, Reiner, is going to be a big deal for the overall final verdict on the game, right? Because if they can do that well, they can make it so that all these planets that you're going to have really meaningful things to come back and do and really feel like you're now I have this force power and I can go into this one area and there's a whole new thing that opens up. That'll be super cool. I think I saw that that it's definitely there, but how expansive it is wasn't something that was that I had time even really to see.
Wow, they're really focusing on environment.
They are
navigation here.
Using your stasis field.
So you're going to see here, I'm sure. I mean, the way to get past this is he slows it down. One of the things that surprised me a little bit about my time playing the game is how much is this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking it was going to be more combat focused than it is. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great battles, and I think they're fun. But the bulk of what I played was more exploration and puzzle solving and finding little hidden caves, using force powers to cross weird platforms.
Now, did he clear out this area? Is that why there's nothing going on, or is there just vast?
There's just these empty spots sometimes.
Does he ever talk to himself, or is it just like this barren audio wasteland? Also?
No, one of the things that is not in here is that there is a really beautiful score that is reminiscent of classic sort of John Williams style Star Wars stuff.
Wait, he just said
he does talk to his droid buddy sometimes. On that note, by the way, I'd like to say that BD1 as a companion is a good companion. We've all played enough video games to know that there are good companions and there are bad ones that get in the way. He is not one of the latter. He helps out. He gives you heals. He lets you slide down ropes, all that kind of good stuff. But there's no point. There was no point during my hours of play that I was like, oh, this guy's annoying.
What's up with the vibrating cactus?
Yeah, you don't want to touch
skunguses.
those. Yeah, those skunguses are trouble.
Skungai.
If you can actually use them against enemies. If you get in a fight while they're around, you can run up to one and sort of trigger it as a bomb, and then if you get the enemy nearby, it'll explode next to them.
Rats.
Which is kind of cool. That was pretty sweet, right?
See, they should just go M. Just allow it for stormtroopers, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
You can see you got a skill point there. I liked their skill system. It's split up into, if I'm remembering correctly, there's like force powers,
No, that can't be right.
lightsaber powers, and survival skills. And so every time you spend a skill point, it'll be like one of those things.
I think I know what you have to do here, Miller.
You do?
I hope that you do it.
Yeah.
Or
Me,
this person
the
did it.
person who's not playing.
Yeah.
This was this whole involved puzzle, by the way.
Just use the damn force and move it. Levitate it.
I think at this point I can't remember at this point in the demo if you actually have force push yet. You might not.
You can only pull enemies toward you.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I force pull either. Gosh. This is, obviously there's a little bit of jumping around here that they're showing off different parts of their game.
They really like the ice skating stuff.
They do. They like the ice skating stuff. They like the wall running thing. Maybe a little bit of nod to Respawn's Titanfall wall running.
Fantastic.
The sculptor
game.
of those statues was not the most talented.
Well, it's an ancient culture.
Still.
Yeah.
But this puzzle goes on for a long time. You're kind of weaving in and out underneath these tombs with these wind currents pushing you around. So you have to note how he has to jump off to the side, and then it pushes him. It's a good puzzle. I liked it. It's not impossible or anything, but kept me entertained for the time it took to finish it.
I like that animation.
One of the other things that I liked is that there's some like customization stuff. We're not seeing it here. I mean, he's just kind of got his standard poncho action going on here. You can take the poncho on and off, and just see the outfits underneath. And there's also different options for that outfit that you acquire as you explore.
Did you acquire any while you were exploring?
I did. I changed my outfit, and that was pretty cool.
Like, what was it?
A different rusty
Different
color.
poncho?
Yeah, different rusty Star Wars color. But I appreciate a little doll dress up in my action games.
Now, presumably, if you are so inclined, you'll be able to spend money and get better costumes.
No.
No?
My understanding is that there are zero microtransactions.
No,
in this game.
Zero.
They've said that. Right? Am I
Yes,
wrong about that?
correct.
Yeah.
And they know what a microtransaction is, right?
I think
They are
do.
aware of that
I think
definition.
they're aware of what it is.
Yeah, but
Okay.
do you have the collector's edition?
Uh-oh.
What
I
if
think
they
there's-
charge $100? Then it's not a microtransaction
Right.
anymore.
Right.
It's a mega
Mega
transaction.
transaction. This is veering into a portion of play that I did
Kashyyyk?
not see. Yeah. But
So
a
what
little
was it
Tarzan
like?
action.
Okay.
I did appreciate one of the things.
Oh
that was,
no! Oh no!
Wow.
We're Skylanders, like just straight up Skylanders. at this
Yeah.
point.
Really going for it.
One of the
Oh.
things I really liked is that you do have choices as you're wandering around with your starship about where you go next. So at the beginning of my demo, they were like, hey, if you want to see the storyline and you want to see kind of where things go and see the kind of curated experience, you want to go to Zepho. But there's also Dathomir on the galactic map,
Oh,
and I could have
cool.
just gone there instead.
Is that this?
No, this is like the Wookiee.
Yeah, this is
home planet.
Chewbacca's patio.
Yeah, exactly.
Purge Trooper, by the way. Very cool.
Now, what are your thoughts about as the fidelity of games improves from what we grew up with? It really does seem to me, at least, that the lightsaber is a real problem. Because in the movies, it behaves in a way that it would not be fun in a game. It's almost like a Superman that you can turn on and off.
Right.
So they have to, like, when you threw it at the beginning, or the person playing threw the lightsaber, and it was fully extended, and then it went through that robot,
Right.
and he just got like a line on him.
Right.
I know you have to balance it.
Yeah,
but-
suspension of disbelief a little bit.
There's definitely that.
But at the same time, you just cut a rat in two. So it's
Yeah.
What is this?
Now, I did do this fight. This was a separate demo that I got to play that was just this boss fight against,
Ninth Sister.
against the Ninth
Inquisitor.
Sister. Yep. She's one of the Inquisitors. She used to be a Jedi.
Okay, so the second sister is the one that's after him. At least at the beginning of the game. So
Okay. Well, this is supposed to be pretty late in the game, is my understanding. Again, I only played this in isolation, so I don't know exactly when it is as it relates to other.
you go back to Kashyyyk then.
Maybe.
I guess with new powers, new area. That's kind of cool.
You know, it's a cool fight. She's sort of the brute boss. The implication from the story bits that we're not getting to see here are that she's had a rough go of things. She was trained by the Jedi. She was taken. She was tortured, and you know the anger that she has now is comes from a pretty rough go of things that she's had.
Taken from her Goron home.
That's right.
Wow. Well, that's all the footage we have.
Excellent. Well, what is this out?
It's out on November 15th. So
good.
I think people are going to be excited to be able to play it. I came away more excited than I had been for the game.
Well, that's good. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And thanks for watching. Bye. Well, that episode was just okay. What are you going to do? Subscribe to Game Informer on YouTube for new episodes of New Gameplay Today every week, covering brand new releases and previews of upcoming games too. You have my promise that at least one of them will be good.